Welcome back to Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ollie Hayes, and today I'm reading the Everton news 24/7 for Monday, the 9th of June. So, as we know, we're well underway in the transfer window now. The rumour mill is massively spinning, and today's news is no different. So, we'll start with today's headline, and it comes from Sasha Tavolieri. And he says that Leeds United are interested in Betto, with Everton happy to take around 25 million euros in a potential deal, which would see Betto go to Ellen Road and play for Leeds United. But before we get into my thoughts, we did an X poll earlier today, and of around over 1,000 votes, 22% were in favour, 11% were unsure, and 67% were against selling Betto to Leeds. A lot of you that know me and watch my stuff over on the Toffee Blues will know my opinions on Betto. I think he's a very important player to us. I've always said that with a consistent run in the team, that Betto would have come good for us, and I think we've seen that this season, that he's shown a little bit more consistency. Now he's been given a bit more of an opportunity by David Moyes, so I'm massively against it. I think Betto is going to be a useful asset to us next season. Signing another striker, I think, is definitely of paramount importance. I think good competition for places is really important in a squad, but I think Betto is going to be massively vital for us next season. So, yeah, I'm massively against selling him. If a monstrous bid came in from Leeds United, which I don't think it will do, then I would maybe entertain it. But 25 million euros, I don't think that's even what we paid for him back in 2022. So yeah, I wouldn't take too much notice of that. And as I said before, we would be very disappointed if Beto were to leave to go to Leeds United. But elsewhere, we've got an update now on the Jack Grealish saga. And well, can you call it a saga? The initial interest in Jack Grealish, which was reported last week. Team Talk have now reported that we will make an approach to Manchester City on a potential loan deal for Jack Grealish. Now, we obviously know that Jack Grealish is on monstrous wages. I think it's £300,000 a week at Manchester City, something that we can't contend with. We can't even get close to 300 grand a week to pay Jack Grealish. So I think a similar situation that Manchester City find themselves in with Jack Grealish is similar to what they were with Calvin Phillips when he went to obviously over to Ipswich. I think with Calvin Phillips, he was also on an astronomical wage, but you can't really justify paying a big transfer fee for him. So I think a potential loan deal for Everton for Jack Grealish would be positive. And obviously we'd probably cover a portion of his wages. So it's one to keep an eye on, but this one seems to be circulating a lot more now with Jack Grealish potentially joining Everton. So it's one to wait and see to see how it unfolds. But now to some potential outgoings. Simon Jones from Mail Sport, he's reported that Tottenham are set to formalise their interest in Jarrad Branthwaite this week. Listen, we know how much Darren Branthwaite means to us. We've rebuffed interest from Manchester City, Manchester United, now Tottenham. I think unless a monstrous bid comes in for Jarrad Branthwaite, he won't be going anywhere this summer because he's just such a good spine to have in the team, to build a team around. A player like Jarrad Branthwaite is of paramount importance. So I think unless a monstrous bid comes in for Jarrad Branthwaite, I don't think he'll be going anywhere, in my opinion. But obviously, as I said before, Spurs are set to formalise that interest. Whether they can match our asking price of Jarrad Branthwaite is another thing. We know Daniel Levy isn't too fond of getting his wallet out and paying large sums of money for players. So, if they do match the bid that we want, fantastic. But, if they don't match our asking price, I think you can be interested all you want. You're not going to own the player. So, again, to more other matters that have been announced by the club today. Everton have officially announced that they've offered new contracts to Idrissa Gana Gueye and Seamus Coleman, whilst they've also announced that talks with the representatives of Michael Keane and Dominic Calvert-Lewin remain ongoing. Although on the DCL saga, Paul Joyce has today indicated that he is set to leave the football club after negotiations have stalled over a new contract to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So again, this one seems to be dragging on way too long with Calvert-Lewin. So as soon as the club announce it, probably the better, and then we can look to maybe getting a replacement. But as I said before, it's just dragging on way too long now with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But in the statement, Everton have confirmed that Billy Krellin, Zanluk Leban, Matthew Apter, Jack Tierney, Owen Barker, and Luke Butterfield will all leave the club at the end of their contracts this summer. However, they did also announce in that statement that the academy players Fraser Barnsley, Joshua Van Shaw, Eli Campbell, Luca Davis, Ala Thomas, George Finney, Callum Bates, Jack Patterson, Harvey Foster, Isaac Heath, and Kobe Eberate have all been offered new deals at the football club. The one really of note there is Isaac Heath, obviously the under-21s player of the season last time out. So I think it's positive that we're seeing these important players to our academy being tied down to longer contracts and new deals. If they have got the required ability, I think it's really important to keep them in house and maybe loan them out, find them suitable loan deals to really help with their development. But as I said before, the big one there is Isaac Heath being our player of the season for the under 21s. Tying him down to a new deal would be very important. So That's really where we're up to in terms of outgoings and ingoings for Everton. Obviously, the announcement today about Dominic Calvert-Lewin is probably the biggest one of note in terms of news. But yeah, that's it for today's news for Monday, the 9th of June. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about potential incomings of obviously Jack Grealish, but also the potential outgoing of Betto to Leeds in the headline news from Sasha Tavolieri. Let me know your thoughts on that one. But that is all from me today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.